We would now like to start Foreign Minister Hayashi's press conference.
There is one point that I would like to make a statement on. At the cabinet meeting today, from May 19th to 21st of 2023, G7 Hiroshima Summit will be held, and the cabinet has agreed on this. In holding the G7 Hiroshima Summit, the Foreign Ministry will be doing its best in making preparations for this. And under the Ministerial Secretariat, today the G7 Hiroshima Summit Secretariat has been established. And a while ago, Prime Minister Kishida visited our ministry, and he has attended the launching ceremony. This secretariat will be instrumental in making a steadfast preparation for the holding G7 Hiroshima Summit. Those of you who have questions, please raise your hand and come to the nearby microphone and state your name and affiliation.
Abe of Yomiuri Shimbun. Yesterday, Prime Minister Kishida gave a press conference, and former Prime Minister Abe's state funeral was mentioned. There will be many foreign dignitaries who will be visiting. So as a foreign ministry, what kind of preparation are you going to make for the funeral? And in addition to that, the other day in the press conference, you talked about the condolences messages, the numbers you raised. And could you give us updates in terms of the numbers? Prime Minister Kishida said that the former Prime Minister Abe was the country's longest-serving Prime Minister, serving 8 years and 8 months, and he exercised outstanding leadership and executive ability, and assumed heavy responsibility and achieved accomplishments in various fields. And also from foreign leaders and international community highly appreciates his achievements. So for this passing of Prime Minister, we have received broad and deep condolence messages from abroad. That is why state funeral was decided in this fall. The former Prime Minister Abe's state funeral, including the participants from abroad, we are going to make a thorough discussions as a government in preparation for that. As of the 14th, from the 260 countries, regions, and organizations, more than a total of 1,700 condolence messages have received.
This is Higuchi from Chugoku Shimbun. What you have mentioned about the G7 Hiroshima Summit, I have a question. Firstly, that the summit will be held against the backdrop of the Ukrainian situation, but Prime Minister Kishida hails from Hiroshima, the site of atomic bombing. This will be a good opportunity to send a message to the world for the world without nuclear weapons. So, visit with the Hibakusha as well as the visit to the Peace Memorial Museum have been requested. So what is the position and thinking of the government is one question. And another is, as the late Prime Minister has been shot by a gun, VIP protection would be a challenge. And as the G7 leaders will gather in Hiroshima, and this will be an important mission of the newly established Secretariat, how would you coordinate with the local community? At the G7 Hiroshima Summit, we need to show to the whole of the world the strong commitment that we would never again repeat the ravages of the nuclear weapons and had to resolutely refuse armed invasion. And we need to also indicate our will with the weight of the history behind, that G7 will take the initiative to create an order of relationship within the new area based upon international rules and the fundamental values. Against this philosophy, the Secretariat should make all-out efforts to make the preparation in holding the G7 Hiroshima Summit. And in the preparation, a consideration will be made to the events that you have just mentioned. As to the security protection, because we had the sad incident recently, we should address this issue properly. Next question, please. Aoki-san from NHK. Yes, this is Aoki from NHK. I have a question on the G7 Ministerial meetings. As to the venues of the ministerial meeting, when do you think it should be decided at the latest? In selecting the cities for the G7 related ministerial meetings next year, we will base ourselves on the requests coming from the cities who have handed in their candidacy. A comprehensive study is being made by the government from different perspectives. The government will take decision and make public at the proper timing. So Okada-san from Sankei Shimbun, please. Yes, this is Okada. Vice President William Lai of Taiwan has visited Japan with the passing of former Prime Minister Abe, and it has been described that he has come to Japan in his private capacity. But Minister, in your press conference, you used the phrase, the person you referred to. If you could explain to us the reason why you used that phrase, because some has been criticizing that special consideration has been given to the PRC government. So if you could respond to this. And state funeral has been decided. Former Prime Minister Abe that has placed importance on friendship between Japan and Taiwan. So for his state funeral, will there be seats set aside for Taiwanese representatives? As to what I have communicated in my press conference for Vice President William Lai, the name was mentioned by the questioner, and I have responded and said that the person that you have referred to is how I have stated. In the diplomatic blue books and so forth, the titles of the Taiwanese government, the officials have been always been mentioned. And as has been already mentioned earlier, including those people who will be attending from abroad for the state funeral, we will be making decisions.
Mainichi Shimbun, Imano is my name. Regarding Ukraine situation, I have a question. The other day, North Korea recognized pro-Russian region as independent countries. In such a development, do you have any concerns? I would like to get your opinions. The People's Republic of Donetsk, so-called People's Republic of Luhansk, regarding the independence of these so-called states, that Russia's recognition of these states as independent countries, that recognition itself is a breach of sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. It is a breach of international law. It is not acceptable at all. In March of this year, according to UNGA resolution, it is calling for Russia to rescind its decision on status of Donetsk and Luhansk immediately without any condition. Despite this, North Korea is seeming to endorse Russia's act like this. The decision along this line was made. However, this is incompatible with UNGA resolution. The Russia's aggression against Ukraine is a breach of sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Ukraine, and it is a breach of international law prohibiting the use of force. It is such a outrage, cannot be accepted. We strongly condemn that. In order to protect international order from the foundation, we are going to cooperate the international community and G7.
Any other question? Yes, Okada-san from Sankei Shimbun. This is Okada from Sankei Shimbun. Now, there has been a bullet being discovered in a private home in Okinawa on the 7th of this month. There has been some training and exercise being made at the Hansen, the base nearby by the U.S. forces. Has the bullet been from the practice? On the 7th, from Kincho Igei district of Okinawa Prefecture, at a private home, the glasses have been broken and something like bullets that have been scattered, and that was what was informed to the Defense Bureau of Okinawa. And on the same day, the Defense Bureau of Okinawa have found that there has been no the destruction of the wires on the walls or the walls of the private home, but of the glasses, including the door, the outside the glasses have been broken, and the bullets have had some rust on it, and those were being confirmed and have been published. On this incident, without any prejudice, with all sorts of possibilities in mind, the police authorities are making investigation. As for the government, we will be responding properly in order to remove any anxiety of the citizens.
Related to this issue, as you said, the bullet was rusty, and also double glassing, the bullet was found between the two pieces of glass. And the way glass was broken, maybe it was unnatural to see this was caused by bullet, according to experts. The U.S. forces or other sources maybe intentionally conducted such an act. What do you think of this possibility? There is no possibility of others other than U.S. forces involved in this bullet. As I said earlier, regarding this matter, we consider various possible sources, causes, and without any prejudice, the police is conducting investigation. That is my understanding. Therefore, as a government, we would like to make sure that anxiety can be dispelled from the local citizens there.
Any other question? Yes, from Kyoto Press. Yes, this is Fukuda from Kyoto Press. Now, for the Foreign Minister, Pak Chin of the Republic of Korea, when will he be visiting Japan? And if he is to visit Japan, looking at the past examples, the courtesy call to be made to the leader, and that it seems to be the practice. And would it be also the case this time? Yes, I do know that such a press report has been done, but nothing has been decided as to the visit by Foreign Minister Park.
The courtesy call to the leaders of the other country, that will be inherited. No, inclusive that decision, no decision has been made so far. Thank you. This concludes the press conference.